Hello, welcome to Concord TV, Community at Your Service, proudly produced by Concord High School students. My name is Kristin McGrath, and I'm the Director of Resource Development for Granite United Way, and I'm also the Administrator of the State Employees Charitable Campaign. Today, I'm really excited to talk more about our State Employees Charitable Campaign, and with me are two very special guests, Commissioner George Kapatis from Employment Securities and Commissioner Nick Toompas from Health and Human Service. So welcome. Thank you both so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kristin.
And thank you for all that you do to be part of the state campaign. Let's start with the basics. George, you have been the chair of this campaign for the past 8 years. Can you share just a little bit about what this campaign is and how you became involved with it?
Sure, Kristin, I'd love to. I started the campaign, I came on the management team back in 2006. At that point, Mike Olbowitz, who was the state treasurer, had been serving for a number of years as state chair. Following year, he left state service, and he, as well as the management team, had asked if I'd be willing to take over. At that point in time, I was serving as Commissioner of Labor, and we had gone through some really hard times, and I saw the tremendous need in the community, and when Mike asked, I didn't hesitate, and I decided to pick up the ball and run with it and try to serve as best I could and try to assist the management team in providing the best services we could for the folks that need our help.
That's fantastic. And I know that being a chair is a lot of work. So what's inspired you to continue doing it year after year? And what changes have you seen in the campaign throughout your time as chair?
Well, I mean, I think you know, the high energy level that you bring is tremendous, as well as the United Way folks that assist you. The management team is great. It's great working with Nick. Nick has been the Gold Dome chair now for a couple of years, and you know, there's a lot of enthusiasm in the campaign. I think state workers, more than other folks, know about the need in the community, and because we're a customer-based agency, we try to serve the people as best we can. Now at Employment Security, we are working with folks that have gone through some difficult times that are unemployed. And like I said, there's a tremendous need in the community. There's over 500 agencies that state employees can pick from that they might want to assist. And like I said, there is a need in the community, and we try to do is provide the best service and obtain the goals that we set for our United Way, State Employees United Way campaign.
That's fantastic. Thank you. And Nick, you have been our Golden Dome chair for the past few years. Can you just share with our viewers what the Golden Dome Society is and how you got involved with that?
George asked me to be the co-chair of the Golden Dome Society, and Golden Dome is those employees that donate 1% of their salary to the campaign. There are about 150 people, a little bit more than that, that are part of the Golden Dome, and they account for better than 1/3 of the amount of dollars that are raised. So it's one of those areas that I feel very, very strongly that especially people in leadership positions should demonstrate, and clearly from somebody where the work that we do in the Department of Health and Human Services, we work with every man, woman, and child in the state every day through our public health efforts and so on. So we see a number of people who, through no fault of their own, run into some difficult times. And when I look at the United Way and the range of services that it provides, again, it provides just across the whole life spectrum in terms of things that people really need. So whatever I can do in terms of being visible, being a leader, in terms of standing up and getting others to participate in Golden Dome, I think it's vitally important. I've always been somebody, even before I came to work for the state a number of years ago, I participated in United Way campaigns and private industry. So it's very important to me to give something back, as George had indicated a little bit earlier.
That's fantastic. And yeah, Golden Dome is an absolutely essential part of the overall campaign, so we really appreciate the work that you do. You both kind of mentioned the management team a little bit. George, can you just speak to what the management team is, who's part of that team, and kind of what their role is in the campaign?
Management team is mostly made up from department head leadership, and basically their role in the campaign is to assist us in getting the message out and communicating back with all the state employees. There's 12,000 state employees in state government. Currently we have participation from about 16%, which is great. We're trying to set a goal of 20% this year. Last year we had 1,952 folks that participated and gave generously to the campaign. We're trying to up that goal by 471 this year. And so it's the management team, what we do is we have initial meetings, and as the meetings progress, obviously the most important thing that they can do and the role that they can serve us best in is getting that message out to all of the employees in state government and the agencies that they oversee.
Absolutely. I think that they play a critical role, and it's been really fun working with that whole team. They bring a lot of great energy. We were talking earlier about also the support from commissioners and the governor. Nick, I don't know if you can speak just a little bit about how the support from leaders within the state trickle down and what the impact that they have.
Governor, when I first became part of the Golden Dome, my experience had been working with Governor Lynch. Governor Hassan is equally enthusiastic about what the role of the state employees charitable campaign is all about. And so again, it's just really getting out there, being visible. Every opportunity I have when I speak with my staff, we are the largest agency in state government. We have close to 3,000 employees within the Department of Health and Human Services across the state. So every opportunity I get to basically talk with people and stress the importance of participation in the program is, I'll take that opportunity.
That's fantastic. And George, when does the campaign kick off this year?
Campaign kicks off April 21st. It runs April
Great.
21st to May 23rd. We are going to have a kickoff as well at the Governor and Council meeting, which is scheduled for April 9th. That's usually when we do the rollout of the campaign, and the campaign dates itself are April 21st to May 23rd.
That's fantastic. Well, I'm really looking forward to this year. I think it'll be another great campaign. Now we have a brief message from the state employees and our management team, and we hope that you stick with us, and we'll see you in a few minutes.
My dad had a diner, and so at a young age, I saw people struggling. They had families, and a lot of times they didn't have some of the wherewithal in order to be able to make ends meet.
Our oldest child has severe physical disabilities, and so we face challenges as new parents that we never had anticipated we'd face before.
When my mother was elderly, when she was in her 80s, she was having a lot of health concerns that when I was away during the day for coming down to Concord to work, nobody was really there with her.
I grew up in the Somersworth Housing Authority, so I'm a product of welfare and food stamps. So I lived there for 18 years in the project before I went off to school.
And because there was an early intervention center, Richie McFarland Center in this case, available in our community, we were able to learn how to help Ben learn. We were able to become better parents for him and better able to work in our community to make sure he was included.
It was reassuring that she'd have a warm meal, or she'd have somebody at the door that she'd have to get up and see. So that meant a lot to me.
My first associate's degree, New Hampshire Community College in Stratham, was paid for by Pell Grant. So I look at it as a very broad brush and how it's helped me as a young kid, you know, and then 4 college degrees later from the state of New Hampshire to be where I am today. It's just, to me, it's all good. And if I can help give back in any way, and if I can help my organization get excited about giving back, then everybody wins.
Look at your own family or your neighbors, because they're all touched by hardship in some form. Whether it's a loved one that's elderly, whether it's somebody that has a disability, or whether it's somebody who's lost their job.
The people are being taxed at a rate that they don't want to see their taxes go up, so they're demanding lower taxes. Well, lower taxes means less money for those that truly could use the assistance.
And you never know when you're going to be in that situation and you just have some bad luck and, you know, might need that help. So it's good to know that you can give now when you can.
We're still the lucky ones. We're employed. We have wonderful benefits. Where we may be struggling, others may be in dire need.
Perhaps some people think that, you know, if I'm only going to give $1, it's maybe not worth it, and that's actually not the case. That $1 would be great if you could do that. If you could do more, that would be even better.
Everybody has to act according to their own conscience, but I think it's the right thing to do, and it's an easy way to do it.
$1 a paycheck would mean a huge something to someone that doesn't have anything.
Sometimes it's that small intervention, the small service that could be provided that would prevent something much more significant from occurring for that particular family.
One of the reasons we're in public service is to provide service to the people of the state. And one way we can provide that service is by making a monetary contribution to the State Employees United Way campaign to assist those individuals that have run into some tough luck, and to assist them in that way is the best of situations for all of us.
State employees are a great bunch of people, and they work under some very difficult circumstances, but they never lose focus of the fact that they're here to serve, and they understand that when we all come together and pitch in and make sure that the weakest among us is helped, then we all get stronger.
Welcome back to Concord TV, Community at Your Service. My name is Kristin McGrath. I'm the Director of Resource Development, and today we're talking about the State Employees Charitable Campaign. And I'm joined by two very special guests, Commissioner George Kapadas from Employment Securities and Commissioner Nick Tumpis from Health and Human Service. So before the break, we were talking all about the State Employees Campaign, and one of the big things that I wanted to highlight today was that the State Employees Campaign received the Granite Award from Granite United Way just a couple of weeks ago, which is no small feat. To be nominated for that award, you have to raise over $100,000 in your campaign. The state employees raised over $348,000, making it the second largest United Way campaign in the entire state, which is really fantastic. I'd love to hear from you, George, about what the goals are for this upcoming year, what we're focusing on, and what you're really looking forward to for 2014.
Sure, Kristin. I mean, one of the things that we're focusing on now is to raise the campaign itself. We took in $348,000, but to all of us, this campaign can do much, much better than that. I mean, we were at 16% participation. We're trying to get up to 20%, which would raise our goal by 471 people. But, you know, just for state employees, I think the basic message that we all want to get out is what a difference if you can just give $1 a week for 52 weeks, what a difference that would make in the campaign. There's 12,000 state employees statewide, 1,952 employees gave last year, and to be able to raise it just 471 people, you know, giving a little bit more money out of their pocket, you know, in order to help those folks in our community that really are in desperate need of the assistance that they receive from these agencies. It's just so very important, and I can't stress that information enough.
Yeah, absolutely. I know I did the math the other day, and if every state employee were to give $1 a week, we'd raise over $600,000. So it's amazing the collective impact we can have when we all work together. As the Golden Dome Chair, do you have specific goals for Golden Dome Society this year?
We'd like to also increase the Golden Dome giving as well. And again, I think part of what we want to do is continue to get the message out there. We as a number of the people that are on the leadership team, the other commissioners, we get together on a monthly basis to chat, and part of what George and I will do when we get together there is to really highlight the importance of the campaign to our fellow commissioners so that they can talk to their employees. Again, it's really begins with a core group of people, and then try to get that out to others, and to just underscore the importance of giving and how you really feel about giving, because again, any one of us, we're fortunate, but any one of us could run into a rough patch, and that's where people really would turn to the United Way for the type of support, for the agencies that are supported by the United Way in that particular area. So for the Golden Dome, it's just to continue to emphasize, and it is a level of giving that, and it is really not just people who make a high level of salary.
Right.
There are a number of people that are in the middle of the wage scale, that it is important to them. And so it's really talking to those folks and understanding why they want to be able to give, and then to try to get that message out to other people as well.
Absolutely. It is always inspiring to me when I see individuals across economic planes that give at such a great and generous level. And I think that the Golden Dome is a wonderful way to recognize anyone who's contributing at a high level for the amount of money that they're making.
People want to give because it feels good in order to give. For myself, even prior to coming into state service, I've been participating in charitable giving for as long as I can remember, because it's important. I do think it's important to do that, and so to be in a position to kind of lead the charge a little bit and create the environment within my team, within the department, for them to get creative in terms of how to communicate with people, how to get some excitement going and so forth, and create that visibility and that goal that George had talked about in terms of looking at raising the number of members and getting greater participation on the state employees is a vital strategy that we're going to take moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think another big piece, and what I always look at, part of the glue of the campaign, is those local coordinators within each department at each location that really play a vital role in getting the message out and getting excitement. George, I'd love to hear kind of what you hope for them to talk about within their own workplaces and what you'd like to see them doing this year to really generate some new excitement.
Well, what they've done in the past, Kristin, is they've organized some different events. They might have a breakfast for folks, for state employees, or a luncheon for folks, and it's basically about getting the message out and driving that message home and bringing the campaign up to a state of awareness so people are aware of what the campaign is and how much good it does. I mean, this year I know that the Department of Transportation is going to hold a resource fair where we're going to have a significant number of agencies that are going to be there on April 21st. And so state employees, I would encourage any of those state employees to go there, because it's one thing for us to be on TV here talking about it. We're deeply appreciative of the opportunity to do that. But at the same time, if you go to a resource fair and you see some of the agencies, you know, you can identify with some of those needs. One of the things I've done in the past, I had done a tour of the New Hampshire Food Bank, and I was shocked when I went in there to see how many of those shelves were actually bare. And I know that Stop and Shop and Shaw's used to give a tremendous amount of food during the year to those folks at the New Hampshire Food Bank, and you know, they had some difficulty in the economy. Some of those stores closed down. They're not able to give what they were able to give in the past. So I think that, to me, drives the point home even more. It's one thing to talk about it, but if you're able to, if a state employee is able to go to this event where they have the resource fair and just to see firsthand and to talk to some of these agencies that are providing such good work in the community, I think that's another area, once they see something like that there's more of an opportunity to give, and they'll be more inclined to give.
Absolutely. I think it's always good to kind of see what's out there and to know really where your money's going. Nick, as the Commissioner of Health and Human Service, you really see firsthand the impact that the State Employees Charitable Campaign has within our state. Can you just talk a little bit about the importance of the funding that goes back out to local programs?
Sure. The Department of Health and Human Services, really, we are an organization that is set up in order to basically help people, get them healthier, get them independent. And like everything else today, everybody is constrained in terms of the resources. And one of the things, to build on a little bit on what George was just saying, was create a greater awareness on the part of people in terms of what agencies are really supported by the United Way, because it is such a wide range of agencies that are there. And in many respects, because we're many times constrained in terms of the resources that we have to work with, the United Way agencies really act as a partner and complement much of the work that we do, because there are things that we want to be able to do, and we don't do everything on our own. We have to work with a number of agencies, and those agencies, many of those agencies, are supported by the United Way.
Absolutely. It's a fantastic partnership. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. I'm excited to continue this conversation. For all of our viewers, we have a brief message from United Way, and stay with us. We'll be right back.
Packers. Vikings. Packers. Vikings.
Red State. Blue State.
We come from different places.
Uptown. Downtown.
Optimist. Cynic.
We come to different conclusions.
Half empty.
Half full.
But when we live united, we create real, lasting change in the building blocks of life. The education, income, and health of our communities, our families,
United.
even the person next to us.
Live united.
Real change won't happen without you. So give, advocate, volunteer, live united.
Welcome back to Concord TV, Community at Your Service. I'm Kristin McGrath, Director of Resource Development with Granite United Way, and I'm here with Commissioner George Kafatis and Commissioner Nick Toomfus talking about the State Employees Charitable Campaign. We've talked a lot about the great things that the state has done, all the employees, their generosity, and the impact that they have, which is really the most important part. As a fundraiser, I always say I want people to feel really good about the gifts that they're giving, but I also think that there's nothing wrong with having a little fun while you do it. So I'd love, George, to talk to you a little bit more about the raffle incentives and some of the prizes we have to thank people for participating in the campaign.
Sure, Kristen. One of the things we've tried to do over the past few years is we've done some outreach to businesses, and the business community has been very generous in their donations, and we have several different prizes. I mean, we have a $500 cash certificate that people would be eligible for. We've got a Manchester Harley Davidson jacket that was donated, a leather jacket from Manchester Harley. We usually have some item from Merchant Motors, which they have been very generous over the past. One year it was a replica of the Green Monster, and, they have given guitars that have been signed by some very prominent folks. And so what we try to do is reach out, and there's a group of us that do this, and we try to get as many raffle prizes as we can to further, again, accentuate the campaign and bring some attention to the campaign, and at the same time let people know that they've got an opportunity to win something if they do donate towards the campaign.
Absolutely. I think that it is. It's always a great incentive and a way to say thank you in a small way. As we were talking about earlier, we also talk about the campaign coordinators at the local level and the important role that they play. I do believe there are some incentives for them as well. Is that right? They have prizes?
Correct. They're part of the prize package is drafted up in a way so that they can participate in their own special select group of prizes as well, for the most new givers and the most contributions given. So the coordinators can participate in a different way with those prizes as well.
That's wonderful. So one of the other things we were talking about was some of the changes we've seen and some of the new things we'd like to implement. I know that we're really trying to become more tech savvy, and this year we're excited to offer an online giving opportunity through the New Hampshire website. Nick, I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about what you hope that this will bring to the campaign this year.
Sure. A part of what we're trying to do, again, going back to the point that George made earlier, which is vitally important, again, in terms of increasing the number of people who are participating. So different tools that we can use to get the message out, whether it's text or other type of things that we can do, using the technology, making it easier for people to gain an awareness of what it is that the United Way does, as well as to then allow a seamless transition for that in order to allow them to basically give. So when we sit down as a management team, part of what we do each year after the campaign, we step back and we say, George brings some baklava, which always kind of moves things along a little bit, so that we can talk a little bit about what worked, what can we do a little bit better, and invariably with some of the newer technologies that are becoming prevalent with everybody, can we use some of those type of things as a way in which to be able to send a little message to let people know, create that awareness, because again, it's not just one time that you want to do it, you want to continue to create that awareness, and that's what those local coordinators really try to do. It's not just giving somebody a piece of paper and say, here, fill that out, but it's really trying to create the visibility, the awareness, and tying it back to the ultimate reason why people would want to give.
Absolutely, and it's true because you make the gift once a year, but the impact happens all year round. So it's
it's the gift that keeps on giving.
Absolutely,
truly.
Yeah. So I think that that's fantastic, and we definitely, as the management team continues to work together, I'm excited to see where we'll go. So state employees that are watching this and are getting really excited about this year's campaign, that want to get involved, George, what's the best way for a state employee that wants to really dive in and volunteer this year? Who should they get in touch with, or what's different ways that they can get part of this campaign?
Well, they can discuss with, there will be a notice going out from each of the department heads, a letter going out to all the state employees. It will also be sent by email as well. anybody that's willing to participate, that's willing to help, you know, they can contact either the coordinators, they can contact me directly if they'd like to contact me directly, but you know, we're really looking for high participation this year and trying to get the message out, not just through the state employees themselves, but through social media, through the newspapers, and just creating that general awareness of the campaign and the importance of this campaign to all those that we serve.
Absolutely, and I think I'm really excited to work with a bunch of different individuals this year, and I'm hopeful that through the agency fair on the 21st and the governor and council meeting and all of those other things, we really will be able to gain more participation and awareness this year. So thank you both for all the great work that you do. This, as a director of development, I know that a campaign is only as good as the committees that you work with, so your leadership is really invaluable, and I appreciate it, and I appreciate the time today, and I'm really looking forward to the 2014 campaign with both of you. So thank you, and thank all of you for joining us today for Community at Your Service. We look forward to seeing you again soon.